Ta-da!
Hello fantasy gamers, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming in the land of the liberal left. For today's A Few Simple Steps, we will be showing you how to make wooden wheels. Wheels that you can use for carts, for war machines, for decoration, so on and so forth. Today, specifically in particular, we're going to make 6 different wheels that we will use in 2 different ways. First, we're going to attach the wheels to an Empire mortar that we are sculpting and creating. And second of all, we are going to use 4 wheels for a Goblin rock lobber / catapult that we are also building up from another toy. So before we get rolling with the actual construction, let's start out by taking a look at the materials you'll need. To begin this video, we can just give you a brief example of what we will be making. Here is one of the wheels that we have used in a conversion of an Empire mortar. And pretty simple. It's got the vertical pieces of wood, the horizontal 2 pieces there, and then a little bit of detail there to add some extra touch to make it look like it's actually a wheel that's connected to this mortar. So this is what we're going to be shooting for. Let's get busy and start to make it. The items you'll need for this now is, we can start out with our 4 wheel bases. These will be just simple 20 Euro-cent coins. I really like these because of the edges they have. They're exactly the right size as well. So 4 of those. Over the top of that we'll be putting some thin cardboard, so we'll need that to be cut up. And of course PVA glue to stick it all together. When that's all finished up, we will put some gray paint over it as our base to make it match with the rest of our pieces that we'll attach the wheels to. Of course you'll need a pair of scissors and you'll need a paintbrush. Pretty simple, so let's get started. To start us off now, let's begin by prepping our cardboard, which will be serving as the boards that we use on our wheels. So let's just take a scissors here, a pair of scissors, and cut out some strips about 1 to 3 millimeters. You don't have to be totally exact, but just get a good, nice even cut. We'll be gluing this onto the coin itself as part of our wheel. So just go ahead and make a bunch of those. With our cardstock planks now prepared, the next step now is simply to take your PVA glue and to put a good healthy layer on the top of your coin. Also these Euro pieces have a nice little edge there, so it works well to keep the glue in place. So use your fingers, spread it out, make sure it gets pretty well nicely covered over the coin. And then what we're going to do is just start to take our planks one by one and add them to the top of the coin. And once you have all the planks on like this, then just give it a little push down to make sure that all the planks are touching glue and they're all on the coin.
And then we can go ahead and set that aside and let it dry. With our planks now adequately dry onto our coin, the next step now is to simply flip it over, grab yourself your pair of scissors, and what we're going to do is just cut around the edge of the coin. Keep the scissors right up against the coin so you can get it as close as possible to the edge of that coin, and just go ahead and snip right around the edges like so. Once again, keeping that pair of scissors very close to the edge of the coin, as close as possible. Okay, and when we flip it over now, you can see how that starts to look like a wooden wheel. So what we can do now is we can flip this over and add our planks to the other side. The only thing that you want to try to keep be aware of though is that you want to keep the planks going in the same direction here. So flip the coin over directly over, and then we'll put our planks in this direction. So let's go ahead and glue that planks onto the other side of the coin. And with the other panels now dry on the other side, we can go ahead and flip this over and take out our pair of scissors again and go ahead and very carefully cut around the coin once again. So we'll cut all the way around here, staying as close as we can to the coin. And once again, if we need to, we can make another little loop around here and try to shave off the sides, any pieces that are sticking out there. And so when we flip it over there now, here's how it will look. We've got essentially the wood paneling on both sides. So we can go ahead now and add a few of our extra details to this. And for the detail work now, what we can do is take a little bit of super glue and we will put the cross panels on. So let's just put a little dab of super glue on the back here so it'll dry faster. And then just simply flip it around and find a good distance down the wheel. Keep it perpendicular to the rest of the planks and give it a good little press there. And let's do the same thing with the other panel. A little dab of super glue here on the back and turn it around perpendicular to the other planks. Keep it about the same distance from the bottom as the other one, approximately there. Push it down and go ahead and give that a second to dry. With our cross panels now glued on there, and let's flip this over and we'll do the same thing we did before. We'll just take our pair of scissors and we'll just go along the edge of the coin and snip off the excess. Like so on that side, and over here as well. Clip off the excess here and here. Now if you notice, we are only going to do this on one side, and that is because this will be the side that is facing outward. With the other side here, we will glue against the cart or the chariot, whatever it is we are making a wheel for. So there we go. We can go ahead now and begin to throw some paint on here. Let's begin with a little paint. Let's pull out some of our gray paint, and you remember you don't need to use too much, so we'll just put a little dab here. And I like to add a little bit of PVA white glue to this in order to not only color it, but also to seal it. So we'll put some PVA glue there. We can do a little mixing there. And remember, this first sealing, if you don't like the way the gray looks, if it's too light because of the PVA that's added, you can always go ahead and add another layer of gray. But this is just a base coat. Most of you will probably be going ahead and simply painting this brown or whichever color you want for your wheels. So let's go ahead and just add our paint now, and we'll paint this whole thing up with a nice good layer of gray. And here you see now the wheels as they are almost dry. You can see how the wonderful textures are coming out and how it actually looks very much like real wooden wheels. So what we'll do here is we'll let this dry, we'll stick them onto our piece that we're using, and then we can go ahead and add any small detail work. We'll probably throw another little coat of paint over it just to make sure we get a good cover. And we can show you how that looks when we're all finished up with the last few details. So once your wheels are all painted up, and you have put your last few pieces of detail on them, like these two wheels here, I have put a couple pieces of detail in the center of the wheels to show the axles that will be running through the war machine. Feel free then to go ahead and mount them on something. In this case, I have them mounted on this war machine, and they fit in really nicely here. So let's pull back and give you a shot of how those wheels look in relation to the entire machine. A very nice addition to a homemade sculpted conversion war machine. One more example of the wheels that we made here. These two I've put onto a little mini Empire mortar war machine that I constructed or sculpted from scratch. And so you can see how this nicely fits the theme for the Empire. We've got the little hooks there in the middle that are providing the support, or that will be connecting the wheels together on the axle. And it ends up being a very nice, very attractive little homemade war machine. So there you go. We've got some wheels that we made out of coins and cardboard and glue. Pretty simple, but in the end I think pretty attractive. These will look really nice painted up, but in this case for now we will just leave them gray.
Well, there you have it, folks. A few simple steps for making wooden wheels for your carts and war machines. Thank you for joining us today here at Grey Army Gaming, where Grey can always play.